so.
Well, that happens.
It happens every time I eat Frito Lay Bean Dip.
All right. I think we're good to go here.
All right.
I think the sound is good. If not, we'll do it again next week.
All right.
All right. So, I am here with Mr. Lackey, and we are doing something different for the And Out Come the Words podcast. We are doing, I guess you could say it's 10 lists of 10? 10, 9, 8. Yeah.
Top lists of 10 top lists of top 10 lists?
Sure. I think so.
Top.
It's 10 lists.
List 10 top. List 10 top.
Yeah, this is a fun one I wanted to do for my birthday, but that got derailed until today.
Well, I knew that wasn't going to happen, but I didn't say anything.
No, I was going to, but it was a long weekend.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't think it was going to happen on your birthday. I wouldn't expect it to happen on your birthday either.
Actually, didn't do much. We just went to dinner and hung out, but I didn't realize that we were going to do a surprise thing, and then I got sick.
Yeah, well,
that's what happens.
Yep.
Life happens. So, all right. I gave you the list ahead of time.
Yes, you did.
How do we want to start this?
And I don't know if I told you this, but this is the first note on my list because I typed everything up on my computer.
So did I.
First off, I want to prove that I listened to your podcast.
Okay.
Based on your last podcast, I actually prefer breaded wings.
Okay. I think I do too. I'm a breaded guy over grilled.
I don't like the naked wings.
I don't either.
They're a little breading helps the sauce.
Yes.
Stick a little bit. I prefer the substance of a breaded wing than a naked wing. But anyway, that was just my proof that I listened to the podcast. So.
I agree with you. I do like the breaded wings, I think. Because it does. It has more sauce, it has more flavor, and I think my wife likes the grilled. The naked ones. But, yeah, I'm a breaded guy, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think breaded wings are anywhere on any of my lists, though. So,
but they're all good. And now I'm hungry for wings. Now that
I'm not a wing guy. I couldn't tell you last time I ate wings.
You're not a wing guy?
Not really, no. Huh. I mean, I don't not like them. I just don't seek them out. Like it sounds to me like if there's a Packers game on, and you and some friends are going to go out and watch the game somewhere, you're going to go, we're going to go get some wings at such and such place and watch the game, right?
That's pretty much Wisconsin, yes.
We would probably be like, hey, which pizza joint are we going to, or which place has the best local beer menu, or that kind of thing. So, but not seek out the wings.
Well, Wisconsin, if you have the best wing place, you'd also probably have a really good beer list anywhere. So
there you go.
Yeah, but yeah.
All right, we've already derailed this for about 4 minutes, so I can see where this one's going to go.
All right, so yes, for my birthday, I wanted to do lists because lists are silly, and I wanted to get silly. But then this one turned actually pretty intense because I redid my list so many times, and I probably didn't even hit my real favorites. But these are the favorites that popped out to me.
Right.
Okay. I think we should just go every other. So I'll say you list your 10 on this one. So
okay.
The question the first one that
are we doing both of our lists or just one list per?
Oh no, I think we go the first list, the second.
Oh, we'll just start. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
You can edit that part out.
Oh no, I'm gonna leave it all in there.
Great.
All right. So first list, I said. This is a silly one because I wanted to start out silly. 10 things you should do naked.
Right.
What do you got?
Right. Just in no particular order.
No order. No.
Okay. Using a belt sander.
Okay.
Meeting your future in-laws for the first time.
Okay.
Applying for a loan at the bank.
Yep.
Okay. Fixing a bike. Reference an episode of Seinfeld. If you remember that episode of Seinfeld.
Yes. Yep.
With the nudist girlfriend. Yep. Using a deep fryer. Hey, wings. There we go.
That's a good
Callback.
one. I almost thought of that one.
Mowing the lawn. Riding or stand up. I don't think either one of those would be pleasant. So, those plastic seats in the heat. I don't know if that's would feel good on the old toad. You might there might be some stickage.
I think the stand up would be better.
Yeah. Well, stand up, then you get grass all over your junk.
Well, if it shoots up that well, I guess mine drags.
All right. Now, probably my favorite one. Sitting on a white couch.
Yeah.
Just think about that one. Yeah.
No, I got
yeah, there you go. 7, training, or 8, training an attack dog.
Yes.
Okay. 9 is fishing. There's hooks involved. And
wait,
also
what'd you say?
Fishing hooks.
Oh, I thought you said.
I mean, has somebody ever cast and no. your ear or something before?
I heard you.
Now imagine being naked and doing that.
Yes, I heard you, but I thought you said something that sounds like fishing.
Oh, fisting. I think there's only one way to. It's the only way.
Okay. All right,
and then, of course, number 10, obviously, performing dentistry.
Yes. You would know.
You lose your license in about half of a day.
Yes.
In the time it would take the phone call afterwards, but yeah. So that's
all right. I like it, and actually, it's funny that you said my first one was stir fry something or deep fry something. So we both had that one.
It's universal.
It is. Then I have clean out your car at a gas station.
Yeah, just
with
driving by that would be.
Well, no, with the hoses and really getting under the seats. Sit on a rock. Try and sell books to middle schoolers.
That one gets put on a list right there. You'll be telling every time you move, you'll be meeting new neighbors.
But I also have another one. Try and sell lemonade to construction workers.
Yeah.
Go to a charity walk.
I have a friend who runs in nude marathons.
How? Doesn't it hurt?
I've never really asked him that particular question, but he does nude runs all the time. Yeah.
Then I have sit in a car with leather seats in Las Vegas during the summer.
Oh, that's a hot chode right there.
It's awful. It's awful.
That's oof.
It's humid.
Oof.
I got roller skating because I fall a lot and it would just not look pretty.
Yeah, you don't want to skin one direction or the other, but head first.
Listening to One Direction going around the rink. I've get into a fight. It doesn't matter what kind of fight, just any fight. Verbal
that's not gonna
or
be a fight for very long. That's gonna.
And then
a prison movie.
Ride a unicycle. It's just it would look silly.
I know somebody that just moved to New Orleans.
Oh, see, how do you know people that are on my list?
What's that?
You know people that are on my list.
And they posted a video of a new unicyclist, like not last week. And they had like some nude run or some nude parade or something. And there's some naked dude in a unicycle, just all proud. And you're right, it looks very strange.
Well, again, the list was 10 things you should not do naked.
You should not do that.
Right.
You shouldn't.
All right, so then we're done with that one.
All right, so you go first.
All right, so now we got number 9. So I have top nine cartoon characters of all time, and this is again
There
your
you go.
personal preference in no order, whatever you want to do.
Right. All right. You go first this time.
This one was
All right.
it was tough, but I think I nailed it down. All right, I have to look at my revised list because I think I switched somebody out.
Right.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, I got Mighty Mouse,
Good.
Peter Griffin,
Good.
Randy Marsh,
Okay. All right.
Homer Simpson, Space
Okay.
Ghost. I had to put Space Ghost in there.
Space Ghost. All right. Now, is it Space Ghost from Space Ghost Coast to Coast or the original?
Oh, I like Coast to Coast. I think that's what I grew up
That's
on.
so funny. So funny.
I have the critic, Jay Sherman.
Oh, very good.
A late ad was Johnny Bravo.
Okay.
I have a tie between Inspector Gadget and the WB Batman, but I think the WB Batman wins.
You're talking about Batman the Animated Series?
Yeah, that was on the WB channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my number one, or I guess if we're going to do number one, is Bugs Bunny.
Very
But-
good.
I also wanted to throw Mr. Horse from Ren and Stimpy in there, so he's a very good honorable mention.
Oh, no, sir. I don't like it.
Yes.
Butt's too smooth. I
Yes.
love that shit. I love that.
Mr.
Our
Horse.
barbecue team, we throw around a lot of quotes from movies and stuff like that. And one of the things is, we'll be tasting something and checking on something or something, and then one of us will just tell him, "No, sir, I don't like it.
It's
Butt's too smooth."
He just missed my list. He got replaced by Space Ghost.
I can see that. I can see. Now I've got some honorable mentions in this too.
But
so.
I could have thrown Ren or Stimpy. I could have thrown a million people on there, but I was like, I got to keep it to my favorite. I like Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but all right, go ahead. 9.
Okay.
Hold on. So 9 cartoon characters of all time.
9
Go.
cartoon characters of all time. Donald Duck,
Nice.
Daffy Duck, because I love angry ducks. And if you've ever seen like old Donald Duck used to get real pissed off and like just have shit fits.
Yep.
And Daffy was always known as being a little bit angry too. So something about angry ducks. I've apparently got some kind of weird fetish for it. But Bugs Bunny,
Yep.
especially cross-dressing Bugs Bunny.
Wow. So angry ducks
You know how
and
all the-
cross-dressing.
You know how all the characters would go gaga over cross-dressing Bugs Bunny? I always thought that was so funny.
That was his trick.
Yep. And then Barney Rubble,
Oh yes.
greatest sidekick of all time.
And that brings up a weird crossover because they did something with the Jetsons, and I wanted to throw some of the Jetsons on there too, but I did not. But sorry, go
There
ahead.
you go. Bender, I've got a weird Jetsons Flintstones crossover story, but I don't know if we have time for that. But Bender,
Oh, yep.
Archer.
That's the one show that everybody loves that I have not given any time to, and I know I have to just sit down and watch it because I know I would love it.
It's really good parody of
I know.
all things.
I know.
And then all of a sudden you got Bob from Bob's Burger as the voice of this guy who's supposed to be better than 007, and it's just hilarious.
Yes, I know. I know.
No, it's good. I mean, it's a fast binge on Netflix. You ought to try it sometime. It's
I always-
20 plus minutes per episode. So
Yep, I know.
Gene on Bob's Burgers,
Yep, I love that. Yep.
because I love that kid's enthusiasm. He's nothing ever. He only wants to entertain. He's never down. I don't believe there's a human being alive like him, but I love it. I love it.
I almost had Chris. I almost had Chris Griffin on mine because of the same thing.
Oh, Chris Griffin, that monkey. Marvin the Martian.
He was on my honorable mention. He was number 11 or number. He was like right there.
He was, as a kid, I loved Marvin the Martian, and then Woody Woodpecker, just because he just fucked with people, and he might have been on coke.
Marvin the Martian was easily close to my list. Woody Woodpecker also there, and Tom and Jerry also there. Yeah, very good.
And then my honorable mentions were Kenny from South Park.
Yep.
Because he was the smart one.
Yep.
He always knew what every filthy thing was that the boys didn't understand. He always understood it. I always liked that about him. And then Homer Simpson is an honorable mention, and then Underdog.
Underdog is on my list. Blue Falcon and Dynamite were on my list of honorable mentions. G.I. Joe Storm Shadow. I loved Storm Shadow. I don't know why. The Tick was also on there.
Very good.
And Jessica Rabbit because,
Well, you are such a kid of the 90s, man. You can tell.
Oh, of course.
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it.
But wait, when was... When was Blue Falcon? Wasn't that 80s?
I'm not even sure if I know what that is, to be honest with you. So okay, probably, because that was...
If you look up Blue Falcon and Dynamite, you'll know exactly what it is.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. That might have been was it 70s?
I don't know.
Or early 80s.
It was something...
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I remember watching it as a kid and loving it, but I couldn't find any of the toys, and now I know why.
He had like a hawk's beak for a hat. Or for like a cow. It was like a hawk's beak, yeah. And he hung out with Dynamite. Yeah. Yeah, it was 80s.
Okay, I love that.
You're probably wrong, but I think you're right.
I thought it was older, but anyway. All right. Yeah, good list. Okay, so now 8.
We're getting serious now.
This people are gonna. It's your own personal choice, and I could say a million albums here, but this is the one. These are ones that meant something to me somewhere in my life. Same thing with like the movies one, but
right.
Yeah. So
my honorable mentions list is about 3 times longer than my list.
That's how my movies.
So, yeah.
My movies one is too. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
And then we'll get into this. Hold on.
All right. Yeah, this portion can take some hydration, I think.
All right, so we did 10 things you shouldn't do naked, 9 cartoon characters of all time. 8 is going to be top 8 albums of all time, in your opinion. I want to stress
these are
yes.
These are personal favorites that have to do with something personal, not what we think are necessarily the 8 most classic albums in the history of albums, but our personal 8 favorites.
Yes. Personal and albums that you've listened to front and back a million times.
Right. The kind of caveat I put on when I put in parentheses above it or what I think are perfect full albums. Like where like you're saying, start to finish, I'll listen to the whole thing, as opposed to there may be an album I listen to 3/4 of it, and I may even like it better than some of these albums, but because there's songs that I may be willing to skip or kind of, usually will hit the next button or something like that, that doesn't qualify. So these are only albums that I can listen to without turning them off. Ever,
that's actually
at any point.
That's actually how I narrowed my list down.
Right. That's where I went with it, and it broke some ties too, because it really because I've listened to pretty much every one of these.
Yep.
A few exceptions because there's things that I just knew were going to be on there, and there was kind of no point of it. But there were a few I just wanted to kind of listen to make sure that I wasn't going to bump something else up into it. Because there are even bands that I like more than a lot of these bands.
Oh,
but these albums are particularly important. To my personal history or just albums I enjoy just listening to at any moment. Like I don't have to be in the mood, I don't think, for any of these.
See, I think that's the only place we might differ is like a lot of my albums are bands that I liked. I like.
No, I'm not saying I don't like it. What I'm just saying is here's an example.
Just go through it. We'll go through it and let me know.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, my honorable mentions will touch on that kind of stuff. But, all right. You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead. So we're doing top 8 albums of all time, in your opinion.
Right.
Yep.
In my opinion. Never Mind the Bollocks, here's the Sex Pistols.
Yep.
That is, it is an album that to me is perfect, start to finish, and it clearly defines a very particular moment in my life, the moment that I learned to like music that I liked, and it's one of those. I think we talked about it the other day. It's one of those where I can remember the record because the first version of it I owned was an album, and I can remember every little skip and scratch and everything on it, the sounds it made in between songs and everything. It's just one of those that near perfect. Okay, another one.
Hold on. I'm going to follow up on that one. What music were you listening to, or what was out there at the time? And then, obviously, I know. Everything I've read about, I know. Ooh, it was a breakthrough and all this other stuff. But coming personally from you,
well, this wasn't when it was. This was when I discovered punk. So we're talking like 81, 82. So it's a few years after the album was actually had come out. But for when I discovered punk, that was probably, you might be able to, there was a couple of Ramon albums, but it was the greatest punk album at the time.
When was Black Flag?
Some would argue even the first. What's that?
When was like Black Flag and all those other bands around? Was it after that?
81, 82, 83. I got into like the California, Black Flag, Dead Kennedys and those bands and stuff. But Nevermind the Bollocks was perfect.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get the time because just coming from someone
like 82, 83. Okay. So I am sixth to eighth grade in that range.
Which
early teenager.
That age is when you really start to find who you really are in music, anyway. So
right. This is when I am becoming kind of who, I start having my own taste, and I start, all this stuff. And I had two friends, these brothers, and we were in a small town in the middle of nowhere, and we had to order albums through zines. If you even remember zines. Because there were catalogs and zines. There wasn't internet back then, so you had to find it. You had to actually seek it out. So
I went through Columbia House. That was my generation.
It was a very interesting time to be a music fan. But anyway, the next is the Cult's Electric, which is, in my opinion, the best album to come out of the '80s.
Yeah.
And I say that you can throw all the big ones at me all you want to, but I really think I think it is near perfect. Every single song. The last song, Memphis Hip Shake, maybe I could take an argument on that one song, but other than that, it just starts perfect, and it just goes through every song so perfectly. Just absolutely perfect album. Then the second one, and this is weird, this is kind of going through my lifetime. REM's Document.
Which one?
Document from REM.
Okay.
This came out right as I was a freshman in college. So if you were in college during this time, you knew REM's Document pretty well because you heard it all the time. And again, it's one of those I can just listen to start to finish, perfect. Probably not the REM album a lot of people would pick, but it's time as much as it's the music on there. It's just it's that was the time for REM in my life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The next one is Metallica's Master of Puppets.
Ooh, that was on my honorable mentions.
Yeah, which is, I think, the perfect heavy metal album. And Metallica at their best. They did not put out an album. I may personally maybe like Kill 'Em All a little bit more, but I have to bow to Master of Puppets because it's a masterpiece. So I'm not gonna.
That was my first introduction to Metallica by my uncle. He gave me the tape and let me borrow it for a while.
There you
So
go.
that one was on my list.
I
That was
like,
on my list easily.
I like the thrashiness of Kill 'Em All a little bit more because it's a little closer to punk. And the time that I got into this was the time I was kind of not coming out of punk, but just finding other stuff besides punk. And it was the thrash side of Metallica that made me like Metallica.
Yeah.
But this album, I just can't deny that this album is a better album, which kind of goes into my next album, which is nothing like Metallica's Master of Puppets, but you kind of can't deny it, the significance, because I had to break a tie between two albums from this band, but it's U2's Joshua Tree. And
yeah, I can see that. I'm not a U2 fan, but I get that album, I guess, if that makes any sense.
It is. First of all, it's kind of them at their zenith. I personally like War better because I discovered War at a time when kind of no one was listening to U2, and U2 was kind of like, wow, this is, I love this, wow, this weird sound, and it's when it wasn't called alternative at the time, but like new wave. Was a lot of very superficial music, and then this band U2 comes along and sings, and, kind of very similar to the Clash, in that they sang about social issues and stuff. And War is a very near and dear album to my heart. But I just had to break the tie because Joshua Tree is just. I don't think anybody of any musical taste can kind of deny it. I know U2 is not for everybody, and especially in the last so many years, you really get down to camps where it's all you either like U2 or you hate U2 kind of thing. It's which is a shame because they really are a great band. But this Joshua Tree is some of the best atmospheric music. Like you can have it on in the background,
yeah,
and it just creates a great atmosphere.
No, I totally get that. Like I said, I'm not a U2 fan at all, but that album isn't. I can actually put up with that album a little bit more than any other.
So this kind of concludes this. What is this? 6 or 5? This 5 kind of. These are my early years, kind of my defining moments. Although the REM kind of does creep into college a little bit, but now we're getting into adult me and kind of the albums that kind of shaped me and also spoke to me a lot. And first of all, Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Oh, really?
Because, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Because as being a kid who was really into punk, and then punk, the music of the mid to late 80s, early 90s got very corporate and very just kind of vanilla. I'm talking like top 40 stuff.
Yep. No, I
remember
remember it. I never was a fan of the grunge at that age.
Well, you're going to get really disappointed because it's in the last one. But Smells Like Teen Spirit told me, because we're at the height of hair bands, and not hair bands. I will argue some hair bands are very good.
Oh yeah.
But there was this formulaic, overly aquanetted kind of just corporate metal music that was coming out, and it was just stifling to the music industry. And then all of a sudden Nirvana came around, and it just probably like those movies we're going to be discussing, it changed the entire landscape. Now, mind you, Alice in Chains beat them to the punch the summer before, but Nirvana's the one who kind of set music back, and it created the alternative. After Nirvana, you started getting alternative stations.
See, I would agree.
It wasn't really alternative.
When did Green Day's Dookie come out?
No, not before this.
Not before it. No. I think that one did it.
No,
for me.
Smells Like Teen Spirit was.
It was like 92 or 93. You're right. It was earlier. 91.
It's a few months. They're not far separated.
Okay.
And it even took Nirvana a little time to get. But this is an album that, again, start to finish, near perfect. And I can remember I graduated college. I can remember going back for my first homecoming as an alumni, and this album had just come out, and just listening to it almost the entire way. just over and over and over again, just because it was so kind of transcendent to what was going on. So it's really, really important album for someone in my age demographic.
I get it.
And
I
then,
totally get it.
And then I'm gonna kind of skip one and go back to it because we might as well keep the theme. Pearl Jam's 10 is another one. So sorry, grunge again, but
no, that's I actually like Pearl Jam more than I like Nirvana anyway. So
Pearl Jam 10 is another one that it's just start to finish. It's so great, and
I agree with that completely.
Incredibly mature because I'm big on first albums. No, a lot of these aren't first albums, but I tend to like bands in their first 3 albums.
How raw
and I
they
tend to like them less as they age, because we talked about this the other day. I like artists to be young and hungry, and I think they put out their better music in the early stages. And for this to be a first album for a band is so impressive because it's such a mature album, and I think it's the best album. I know people will argue a few of the other ones, but I think song to song, it's their best go.
I don't remember if we talked about it the other day, but I think we brought this there. I brought this up as Buddy from Census Fail, how he mentioned albums. A band will always be more real. Actually, no, it was more of like if you listen to a band's new album compared to the old one, I wish they would have sounded like that. And he's like, every band, you grow up, you get more money, you get better instruments, you can't expect the band to sound like they do when they originally came out.
No, it's really sad. And then popularity.
But no, I agree. Like I completely agree with you. Like though, I like the bands their early stuff, and that's how they came out when they were young and hungry and everything else. And then but again, you get older, you get more money. It happens with everybody.
Right.
So anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, and then my last one, and this is probably the one where a lot of people will go, huh? But this it's on a lot of top 10 lists for albums of the 90s, and it's the Jayhawks Hollywood Town Hall, and it is a very exactly. It is a very specific genre of music. It's not it's more a little centralized to the Midwest and the South. Kind of originally started by the band Uncle Tupelo, which may not even mean anything to you. But
wait, okay, tell me what this band is again. Hold on.
This band is the Jayhawks.
Oh, yes.
And the album is Hollywood Town Hall. It was I think it was like their second or third album. It hit fairly big on MTV briefly in like 92, 93, I think.
How do I know the Jayhawks?
But you probably if I played you some of the stuff, you probably recognize it. And then there was this movement called the alternative, or the actual true kind of term was No Depression, which was a name of an album by Uncle Tupelo, who when they split up they became Sunvolt and Wilco. So if you know Wilco, it's kind of it's that thread of DNA. So it's kind of roots rock. Some.
Is that the Jayhawks?
No.
Oh. What do you want me to look up here?
Look up. Let me think of probably "Waiting for the Sun" is one of their bigger songs from this album. I mean, that may have been a Jayhawks song, but that's not indicative. I'll put it that way.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
I can't play too much of it. iTunes will yell at me.
The lead singer has got a very, very kind of very unique voice. So once you hear him sing, you kind of know who it is. But
okay, yeah, I'll listen to that. Okay, yeah.
So anyway, it had made one of the top 10, a lot of top 10 of the 90s kind of albums, and it again speaks to a very particular time in my life. I was first year in dental school. living on my own, going to school, and just I would listen to this album constantly. And there was a big period in my life. The 90s was a wonderful time for being a music fan, when the alternative scene kind of blew up, and there was just a new band every week and everything. And my vice of the 90s was just buying CDs. And the Jayhawks and Uncle Tupelo and all those bands. It speaks to the DNA of someone who's lived in the Midwest and the South. It's not necessarily a sound that somebody from the coast would kind of like how Springsteen makes sense to somebody from Jersey. The Jayhawks make sense to somebody in my kind of geographic area and everything like that. Kind of like the way Russ speaks to people in the Midwest and up north. So it's just something about that. It speaks very much, and it's a fantastic album. It's it's a little more like, I've been talking a lot of there's a lot of heavy stuff on here, but it's one of the more kind of laid back and subtle albums.
I already saved it to my Spotify, so I'll listen to it
tomorrow. There you go. Give it a shot. I mean, it's like I said, it's not. It's for me. I'm not.
And that's what this list was. What did you think about
so we go
our
on
talk?
Mentions. You want to do your 8, and then.
Well, what did you think about our talk? My podcast with Mario when we were talking music about music in '90s, and were we pretty spot on, or?
Yeah, I mean he's deep cut. He's really, but no, there was a lot of things that just really kind of that spoke to me and everything. In fact, off mic, I want to talk to you. I haven't talked to you about that episode, but I want to talk to you about that episode at some point.
Right, we'll talk.
Really, really, really good. And I've had that guy. Our brains kind of work very similar and everything. But
all right, we'll talk later.
So do you want to do your 8, or you want to do honorable mentions?
I don't know.
I got a long.
I'll rip through my 8. I have way more. We should probably rip through I have way more honorable mentions for movies than I do albums.
Okay.
Which I just jumped ahead, but let me rip through my albums quick.
All right, go ahead.
No particular order, as we've stated before. Deftones, Around the Fur. They were the new metal group that was not really new metal, but they were lumped in, and they are still jamming.
Unfairly lumped in with new metal, because they were definitely not.
They're still jamming today. Well, I guess so is Korn and all those other new metal bands, but Deftones always were different. Chino Marino, his voice. I mean, he's done so many different albums, so many different things. Go ahead.
What was it? Rainbow Bright?
For what?
That was an intern on J Mohr Sports.
Oh, I don't remember.
Diana Nectarine is her name on Facebook. She was just at a Deftones show like this weekend.
Oh, maybe. And I think
posted a Facebook Live. I mean, lead singer is in her face singing.
Oh, maybe.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I loved that group growing up. Like, that was my first. This is the first group that's heavy and then goes light and then heavy and then light, and kind of like the way that System of a Down did it, which I love System of a Down, and they just System of a Down they're my honorable mention for the. If you want to talk first albums of that album, System of a Down's first album is insane, and
that's the one with Sweet Pea. Was Sweet Pea on it?
Yes.
Oh gosh, that thing is brutal. That's so good.
It just starts out and you're just like, who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah, I know. I remember. I had a buddy.
And then it just gets, and then the guy's crazy voice, and you're like, wait, what is this?
I had a friend who saw the video to Sweet Pea, and he was not into that kind of music at all. He goes, "Dude, I saw a video that scared me." He goes, "You're gonna love it." And I said, "What's the name of it?" And he told me, and that album was bought as soon as I heard Sweet Pea for the first time. I was like, "Yep, that's me."
Yeah, that was one of the albums that when Mario and I were talking about like the record store guys, like they said, "Here, you got to check this out. The guy's not from around here." And I was like, "All right, I'll check it out." And I threw it in my car, listened to it on the way home, and I went, "What the fuck? This is amazing!" But it had like War and like there's tons of anyway. That one just missed my list, but Deftones kind of set the stage for And they're still good. They're still pumping out amazing music.
I know.
So
they're one of those bands that kind of passed me by, though. Like I just they were almost, I would almost call them a blind spot, but they're not. But they are. I should like them more than I do. I'll put it that way. I recognize I should like them all. Okay.
And even if you just follow Chino Moreno, he's done a bunch of side projects, and his voice just carries to other things. So I don't know. I've always related to that group, and they're big fan. So all right, and number 2, or whichever way you want to go, and Out Come the Wolves by Rancid, which is obviously the backbone of this podcast, and Out Come the Words.
There you go.
It was an album. It wasn't their first, but it was definitely the album that you can listen.
The one that
go ahead.
Made a name for them, right?
Kind of. I mean, yeah. It's the craziest album because you listen to it from front to back, like first song to the end song. The end song, if you hit it on repeat, the end song plays perfectly into the first song again. It's just you can play it on repeat. And it was just one of those albums where I'm like, it wasn't even the first album that I listened to that I liked of them. I listened to Let Go, and there was a song called Antennas. But in Now Come the Wolves, like I was like, yeah, this I can listen to every fucking song on this album, and it's amazing. Like it just that blew my mind, and they're still making songs today. So I don't know.
Where is that in relation to Life Won't Wait?
I think it's right after it.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
I think so.
I've got Life Won't Wait. But...
Yeah, I think it's right after it. But that album, amazing.
Can't complain about Rancid, that's for sure.
Obviously, I'm a big fan, and that's the name of the podcast, sort of. Next one. Wu-Tang, Enter the 36 Chambers.
All right.
You can tell that I'm the 90s kid.
I got nothing for you.
Watching Yo MTV Raps. Watching them, 9 dudes in a group that could rap all on their own, and this album blew me away. So,
I will. Since you're giving Jayhawks a listen, I'll give it a listen because this is not in my wheelhouse. So I will. I will crank it on Spotify. In fact, let me pull up Spotify on my.
Enter the 36 Chambers.
All right.
There's 9 guys in the group, and every one of them can rap, and they're fantastic. I was going to throw their double album, so if you want to follow up with that one, but I didn't want to throw double albums on there. But
what's wrong with double album? Nothing wrong with that. I think double album an honorable mention for me. So.
That's one that I actually waited at midnight for. All right, nice. then I get the Slim Shady LP.
Okay.
That one, Eminem kind of blew me away. So this is how you can tell that I'm 90s. So I'm going to just go back to back. I got Slim Shady and then The Chronic, because The Chronic,
that is a classic.
That didn't introduce me to hip-hop or rap, but it excelled me. And I'll get to the one that introduced me to rap, but The Chronic was, I think anyone in my age group probably would be on their list, because when growing up I was not listening to punk music. I kind of fell into that later.
One would argue that there is a relationship between punk and hip hop.
Totally. Oh yeah.
There is definitely a relationship there, or there is a common thread. And, disaffected youth and explaining life as you see it as someone. There's great protest in both forms of those music. Both forms of those music.
And I think there can be some fun in those music too, like
entertainment. There's
dance stuff, like whatever it is. But it's definitely catchy, and I mean, The Chronic was. Well, that was one album that I had to throw in here. It was, like I said, I'll get to an album that introduced me to it, but this one definitely threw me way into it.
So The Chronic that was your.
Oh yeah. And now I couldn't tell you one rapper rap. Well, I guess I could, but there's nothing like there was back then, and that's the old man talking. But
Oh no, you're talking to the old man, because this is all like my hip hop.
Mumble rap is not rap.
Huh?
Mumble rap is not rap.
Well, no. Well, that all stuff. But I mean, I don't. There's not a rap out. The only thing even relatively close to a rap album that would be on my list would be something from the Beasties.
Yeah.
Because I fell in a time when
License to Ill was almost on my list. That's an honorable mention, by the way.
License to Ill or
Paul's Boutique.
Hello Nasty. Yeah.
Okay. So sorry.
But anyway, all right.
All right. Let me crank through Okay. So then my dad on 8-track and Reel to Reel would always listen to Live at Folsom Prison with Johnny Cash.
Reel to Reel.
I had to sell two. When they passed away, I had to sell 2 reel-to-reel machines. My dad loved them.
I had a cousin who had a reel-to-reel machine.
So I grew up on old school country, Randy Travis, George Strait, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, like all the old stuff. So Live at Folsom, that mixed when I was younger and when I was older. So I had to throw it in there.
I get it.
Graceland, Paul Simon.
Right. We talked about that the other night.
My mom loved that album. I had to put it on the list. It was a jam, and
it was huge.
It still is a jam.
Huge.
It still is a jam. And then the last one, which I was kind of telling you, the first album that I got. And I mentioned this on the podcast before, but Predator by Ice Cube. It was the first one that. It was the first one that. Again, it's not in any order, but it's on my list. But it's the first rap album that I bought by myself that I had to hide from my parents, the warning label. But I can still listen to front and back. Like, Today Was a Good Day. There's so many good songs on it.
Yeah, and that's the album that introduced Snoop, right?
What? Yeah. Well,
Isn't that the album that introduced Snoop to the world, wasn't it?
No, that was The Chronic.
Predator
was just Ice Cube.
Okay, all right.
That was like Today Was a Good...
Show my late 40s here. I apologize.
No, that's fine. But that was the first album that I bought, and I had to hide the warning label from my parents, and yeah, I can still listen to that album front to back. But yeah, that's my list.
Wow, interesting list. A lot of hip hop on your list.
I know, but like I said, yeah,
that's not a judgment anyway, so don't worry about it.
No, not at all. And that's just how I grew. Like there's hip hop and country and Paul Simon, and punk.
Man, so, that is a swirling mass of awesomeness right there.
Kind of all over. Oh wait, and new metal, if you want to consider new metal, but yeah.
We all right, new metal phase, so.
Give me 3 of your honorable mentions, and then I want to kick it to the next one.
Okay. 3 must-have honorable mentions, and don't say a word, because we don't want to get in this debate right now. But the Beatles' White Album.
Okay, not saying anything.
Almost made the list. This is a cheat, so I freely admit it's a cheat because it's not just a singular album, but this is how I consume it.
Okay.
The 1990 Led Zeppelin box set.
That's fine.
If you're going to listen to Led Zeppelin, just listen to it all, and it is.
No, that should have been on your top list, but okay.
Collection. I mean, it was close. These top 3 could have been in there. Could have replaced any other ones. And then another one, only because they are kind of what I consider my favorite. Well, no longer active band, but back a few years ago, what I consider my favorite active band was the Black Crowes and Southern Harmony and Musical Companion. They are one of those bands that, if they're coming to town, I will always see them.
Yeah.
While absolutely love them, and it's one of the reasons that drew me to Jay Mohr and kind of his sphere and everything, because his love for them. And but Southern Harmony in particular is just a singular perfect album, just about perfect. There's a couple of other ones that I could put on the list too, but then I've got a ton of other ones that we've got to move on. So
yeah, no, I'm fine with all those. Like, I would have cheated and said CCR's greatest hits, but I didn't want to throw greatest hits on there.
Whose greatest hits?
CCR.
That is a good album.
It's really good.
That greatest hits album is really good.
But I don't want to do greatest hits.
Not a bad song on that album either. Yeah, yeah. Greatest hits was too easy, but the Led Zeppelin box set was just.
No,
I got into them in college, and that's right when the box set came out. So it just made more sense just to buy the damn box set. You know, so
I would have allowed it. That would have been allowed.
Yeah. So, all right. What about your honorables?
Now I gotta look at my phone because I had a bunch on here. The honorables didn't make my. System of a Down was one of them. The Ramones was one of them.
I just couldn't pick which one.
The first one was on there for me.
In there, but I just couldn't pick which album.
The first Ramones was on there for me. Never mind the Bullocks is on there for me.
Yeah, that's just so good.
So one of yours was on one of mine, and then All Eyes on Me, the double album by Tupac, and then ATLiens by Outkast is also on there.
Okay.
And the Blink-182 self-titled album also on there, but it was kind of a horse piece, so I just was like, I'm going to throw, this is my list, here it is. All right. So, we did 8 albums, so now number 7. 7 movies of all time. And I won't even, let's see, it's 11, 13, what is it, 12, 13 your time?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just run through.
I'm on Central. I'm fine. And I'm a late night guy anyway, so don't worry about me. Just worry about you.
7 movies. Is it my turn?
All right. It's your turn.
Oh, crap. This is the one where I have a lot of honorable mentions, but I'm going to run through them.
I've got a few myself, yeah.
So my list here was movies that if they're
I'll tell you what.
If they're on, I'm going to watch them all the time.
If I end up having one, I'll just go ahead and say, yeah, that's on mine too. It'll help shorten things, so we don't talk about it twice.
It might not be, but we can. Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. But if that happens, I'll do that. So.
All right.
I think.
So 7 movies that my I mean, this is the one that I was really struggling, but. I said, you know what? My qualifier was if the movie is on and I can watch it no matter what, then it should be on my list. So, here we go. Fight Club. Was Fight Club on your list?
No, it was not.
What?
I love it, though. I absolutely love it, but no, it was not.
So, I got Fight Club, Goodfellas, Rounders.
Honorable mention. Okay.
Rounders, Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
It was a toss-up. I wanted to throw a comedy in here. It was a toss-up between Dumb and Dumber and Super Troopers. Super Troopers I pull way more lines from nowadays, and I absolutely think it's hilarious.
God,
so I bumped up Super Troopers because I've watched it way more.
Super Troopers is absolutely my favorite comedy of all time. It did not make my top 7, but it's on my honorable mention.
I wanted to throw a comedy in there.
It's so good.
Ghostbusters?
Original, I'm hoping.
Yes.
Awesome.
First Ghostbusters.
AMC's been playing that a lot lately.
Yep.
I've noticed. I've come home a few times with it on.
And then my last battle, Goonies wins. But
What? Goonies. Oh,
Goonies.
Nice.
But it was Goonies versus Beetlejuice. Because it was like my first Tim Burton, and I like.
Oh man, that's tough.
But but Goonies is a classic, and I love that movie. And then I saw Karate Kid the other day, and I was like, "Damn it, I love this movie too."
So good.
All right, let me rip through my honorable mentions real quick. Okay,
go for it. Yep.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, Searching for Bobby Fischer, Casino, Boondock Saints, Shawshank Redemption, Matrix, Dark Knight, Dirty Dancing, Adventures in Babysitting, Good Will Hunting, Princess Bride, Dumb and Dumber, Natural Born Killers, Pulp Fiction, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Billy Madison, Usual Suspects, Few Good Men, Major League, Digstown, and Never Ending Story.
Done. Fantastic. There's not a bad movie in that list. I can tell you that much.
That's tough. I could probably name way more.
We had a little bit of crossover. Not in the top 7. We had a lot of crossover in the honorable mentions.
Go ahead.
Are you ready? Okay, top 7 movies of all time. Mine.
If you say
just
Citizen Kane, you're done.
What's that?
If you say Citizen Kane or like some.
No, I will not. No, these are not what I consider as films, the best films. These are much like my music choices. These are movies that mean a lot to me, that I feel are great. The greatest movies that I personally like or have personal connection to.
Perfect. Go.
So no, I'm not going to say Citizen Kane. Full Metal Jacket.
Nice.
Was probably the first movie I ever quote it from start to finish.
Yep.
Boogie Nights.
Oh, really?
Because I love Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yep.
I love his directing, and I just like the way he shoots movies.
Royal Tenenbaums was on my list. Not that that's any relation.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, Wes Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson. There's some.
Yeah.
They're both really good directors. Pulp Fiction, which we talked a lot about the other night.
Yep.
Almost Famous.
Oh, classic! How did I forget about that? Okay,
which
yes.
Just the kids' love of music really kind of. I feel like it parallels my life a lot, and just
no. You don't have to, which one?
No, never mind. And that movie made me cry like a baby. Star Wars, the original. I will freely admit that Empire Strikes Back is a better movie, but Star Wars has the most impact.
I grew up only knowing Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
Because it came out when I was a little kid, so that's why.
Yep. So I just the nostalgia for the original Star Wars. Yep. Saving Private Ryan.
Great one. Yes.
Which surprises me because I'm not that big into war movies, and 2 war movies are on my top 7. So, and then semi-war movie, and one that you and I have talked about quite a bit, Children of Men.
I love Children
of
Men.
Which I think is the greatest sci-fi movie in the last 20 years. Honorable mentions, I'll just run through these. Once, Fellowship of the Ring, Good Will Hunting.
Oh, yep.
Magnolia. Yep, Magnolia, another Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Yep.
Super Troopers, and this is where I got into comedies. Super Troopers, This is Spinal Tap, Real Genius, Chasing Amy, and High Fidelity.
Nice. UHF was on my list too, but I took
Oh God, that's so funny! What are those?
It's such a funny
Kramer.
movie. It's so stupid, but Spaceballs, like all those movies are on.
Spaceballs. All right,
good list.
Yeah,
okay,
we'll rip through these pretty quick.
Yep. All right, we had 6. Okay, so that was 7. Now we're doing 6, and the list I gave you said top 6 Al Pacino movies of all time, and I think we might be dead on with all these, but go ahead. Your top 6 Al Pacino movies of all time.
I think there's one that's going to be different.
Okay, go ahead.
Godfather 1,
okay.
Godfather 2.
Right.
This is the one that's probably a dark horse, but I love it. The Devil's Advocate.
Okay.
It's ridiculous, but I love Pacino in it. Heat.
Okay. It's not ridiculous. It's a great movie.
Scarface, which would not necessarily be my pick, but again, kind of like some other things, you kind of can't deny it. And then a really kind of off-center one is You Don't Know Jack, that HBO movie about Kevorkian.
Okay. We're not even close.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. And then, but then I had under this list, definitely not, and I hope it's not on your list, Son of a Woman.
Nope, not on my list.
Oh, I hate that movie. Ugh. All right.
All right. Here's mine.
So a little different list then, huh? All right, cool.
Ours is different.
Great.
I have Godfather Part 2.
Okay.
Carlito's Way.
Oh, yeah, good.
Donnie Brasco.
Great movie.
Any Given Sunday. Devil's... No. Devil's Advocate.
That's not fair. That's not why. It's not. It has nothing to do with Pacino, and it has nothing to do with.
He's the head coach.
It has nothing to do with that. That wasn't an indictment of your choice. It was something about that movie that's just always kind of got at my prop. But that's not what we're talking about. So sorry.
I'm throwing on Any Given Sunday.
What's that?
I'm throwing on Any Given Sunday. And then Devil's Advocate.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, all right.
And my last one is Dick Tracy.
Really?
I grew up with it, so yes. I have
no,
the
it's
toy.
all, no, it's and he's so like unrecognizable in it.
I know. But
Yeah,
it was one of my favorite
cool.
movies growing up, so I had to throw it in there.
That movie gets dumped on a lot, and it's actually I think it's people looking back on it without kind of perspective and stuff. But I don't think that movie was that horrible. But a lot of people really dump on it. I don't know why.
The color in that movie and everything else, the cinematography.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, it's very cool imagery. But I'm impressed that Devil's Advocate is on your list because.
Oh yeah.
Some people really hate that movie, but I love it.
I love that movie. I'll watch it all the time.
He's got one of the greatest monologues in that movie.
Yep.
It's just one of those monologues that's always stuck with me.
Yep. It was a good movie. All right. That's 6. Now top 5, which is going to segregate some of the listeners, but I thought it was good.
Yep.
Top 5 J. Mohr sports moments.
Right.
I'll rip through mine. Ready?
All right. This was hard, by the way.
It was hard. There's an entire show about Mr. T and Cardale Jones. Where the whole thing was show me your hands, fool. And then they went into...
Oh, my gosh.
That episode had me crying, laughing.
Using sound drops the way they were supposed to be used.
Yes.
And
hands,
taking
fool.
the joke... taking the joke to that point where you're sick of it and then it becomes funny again.
Yes.
And then you think you're sick of it, but then the next time you hear it, you laugh harder. Yeah, no, that was one of those crazy episodes, yeah.
Yep. But that actually leads into my next one, which when Derek Fisher got punched by Matt Barnes.
Okay.
And then it led them to do the storytelling with sound drops. So that one is like, I just remember Dan Byer saying, "Oh, we actually have audio of Matt Barnes punching Derek Fisher and then jumping on a tugboat, and then and then the whole time, and then ever since then they would tell a story with all the different sound drops they had. They're like, oh." We actually have audio of that, and then they would do a sound drop of whatever it was, and that one always made me laugh. And then so number 3 I have Burning Oil, which actually led to my first win when I said they want to change the name of Lucas Burning Oil Stadium or Lucas Oil Stadium to Burning Oil Stadium. And then,
which fit in perfectly with kind of what was going on there too. That's funny.
So that led to my first win. Next one was the one when Jay mentioned right when my parents happened. I was driving home with my son, and next thing I know is he was talking about me and my parents. So that one obviously hit home.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then the last thing I threw in there was the Merrill newscast with Ramos's weather and Byer had pet tips.
Oh my gosh.
Like that bit, because Merrill is up north Wisconsin. It's literally
Merrill
a city.
Blue Jays? Oh
yes,
it's
a city up north Wisconsin. And my buddy went to school there and grew up there. So
that's hilarious.
Because
were they really the Merrill Blue Jays?
Yeah, I have a T-shirt that says Merrill Blue Jays.
Oh, did you post a picture of that?
Yes, I can send you a T-shirt.
Okay, all right.
I owed
it's been a lot of years, so
Yeah, I OD one, but every time they would do
hilarious.
next up in Merrill news, and then they would name like random things in Wisconsin. It was just kind of funny. And buyers and like pet tips, just hilarious.
Pet tips. I'm telling you what, Dan Byer, funnier.
Yes.
Just sitting here talking, way funnier than he seems like he's the straight man, but really funny.
His puns
really
are
funny.
the best. So, yeah, and then my only I have a bunch of honorable mentions, but the only one I really say is obviously, because anytime anyone says
obviously,
anytime anyone at work says obviously,
still do it?
I still think obviously.
Obviously.
So, go ahead. Now top 5 Jay Mohr moments.
I'm going to start with an honorable mention only because I completely forgot about this, and I cannot not mention this, and that is the beauty and genius of local reporter jokes.
Yep.
I just love local. I still like local reporter jokes. They still crack me up. But okay, my number 5 is anything with brain.
Yes.
And especially Long Island.
Yes.
Long Island, I'm fighting to not just have to stop what I'm doing and laugh out loud because that just cracks me up so much. So it was early in the show, but it's still, gosh, but anything with him, Brainioki, all that stuff was just great. And just whenever Jay would get him to try to say the name, that's where somebody's calling from or something.
Oh,
New
actually,
York City.
That was one of my honorable mentions. Was Wide World of Ramos, where he had him try to pronounce the names.
Oh, yeah, because I remember I sent in the name of the like the Chinese table tennis team. I was like, hey Jay, you've got to get him to read these off. And Jay like stopped everything. He's like, Ramos.
You're racist.
Like a table tennis team or something, and the names were crazy. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. All right, number 4 are the laughs, and that's Ramos's laugh.
Oh, God,
or it's like getting certain people to laugh. So my kind of yardstick on tweets were if Jay would read it and you could hear Ramos in the background laughing.
Yep, I love that.
That's always when it was great that Jay read it, but I always knew that it was a little bit better if I could hear Ramos laughing. So that was always good.
Agreed.
Or getting Jay to laugh mid-read.
Yep.
Or Dean Colorado's laugh.
Getting Byer to laugh would always crack me up too.
No, that's what the rarest is, getting Byer to laugh out loud. And when you got Byer to laugh out loud, you had a really good one.
Yep.
A really good one. And the one I remember the most was I had a tweet about Mike Glennon looks like. What's that?
No, I was just going to say the burning oil one actually had Byer really laughing.
Yeah. But it was John Glennon looks like Anthony Michael Hall and John Clayton from ESPN had a baby.
Yes.
And Byer, I think it was the first time I ever got Byer to really laugh at one of my tweets, and he really lost it. But okay, that's number 4. Number 3 is singing Toto during Rapid Fire.
Yep.
Just because that was one of my more surreal moments on the show, I have to say. And then 4th is kind of very similar to yours. It's my first win. And there is a story behind it, and it's only a story I will share with Jay Mohr. And I think I've told him that before, but it not only meant something to win it, but not near as kind of special as like yours was, but there's kind of a personal story attached to my first win, kind of like yours, that is something I just someday will share with Jay, hopefully. Yeah. And then the 5th is show related, not necessarily a moment on the show, but it's the first time I ever talked to another fan. Because now did they have an affiliate up there? for you? Do they have was there an affiliate up there where you listen online?
Yeah.
Yes, you were listening online, or yes, there was an affiliate?
Oh, there was an original affiliate, and then it got bumped, so I listened to that, and then it got bumped, and then I listened online.
Okay, because we never had an affiliate here, so nobody I didn't know anybody who listened to the show.
I usually listen to him on Jim Rome, and then we had an affiliate, and then it bumped off, and then I had to listen to online. So
yeah, and then like most people, until I talked to Dean, I'd never talked to anybody about the show. Well, I mean, I'd mentioned to friends, hey, I'm tweeting the show, it's real fun and all that kind of stuff, but no one who ever knew anything, and I just, that first conversation with Dean was just, it was so exciting just to share it with, to sit there and talk to somebody who shared it with you, and who knew what you were talking about and everything. It was just, and then consequently, every time I talk to another person for the first time, it's that same kind of thing, and that, you got all these things you want to talk about and everything. And, still even now, 6 months after the show's done, it's still exciting to talk to people for the first time and everything. So I don't know if that's a little bit of a cheat because it's not really about the show, but
no, it is about the show, and I think
because just it's the first person that Jay built, and it's still going.
That's the first person I ever talked to, I think.
I think Dean's pretty much the first person most people talk to, unless you're in the same town with somebody else or somebody. I mean,
on the phone talk to, yes.
What's that?
On the phone talk to, yes, easily.
Yeah, and then Owen B is the first person I ever physically met. He's come through town a few times.
Anyone yet?
With his work and
actually, Derek, the guy that I work with, he won once, and I didn't work with him when he won, but all of a sudden, we had this new guy that we worked with, and all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, are you on Twitter?" And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Do you listen to Jay Mohr?" I'm like, "Oh crap, yes." And then,
oh shit.
And then now we're really close friends, so it worked out, and he's a great guy. But as far as anyone else, no, I haven't met anyone. I tried to meet Dee when I was out in Colorado. I tried to get Fresh out here every once in a while, and Andy is way up Wisconsin, but probably meet up with him soon. But yeah, but first person I talked to, and then I think the first time we never talked. The only time I think we first talked was when you called me and asked me about Hipstamatic.
Was that the first time we actually talked? I
think so.
We didn't talk around Christmas time?
No.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, is that your fifth? I think that's the fifth.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I could talk Jay. We could talk Jay more sports stuff forever.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I think we did before. But
yeah.
Last time we talked. All right. I'm getting messages, so let's end it on 5. And then do you want to recap this, and we'll finish the rest next time?
Halfway through. I knew there was no way we were getting through everything.
All right, let's end it here. I'm going to post this.
Okay.
We did 5. And then we're going to end with 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we had huge lists. I mean, those were big lists. So
I think the next one will end pretty quickly. Well, it might not, but
we can.
The next topic, it might get hairy, but yes.
You think so? No, it's not.
It's fun. It's fun talk.
Well, once you hear my
answer, teaser.
Then, oh shit.
Now it's a teaser.
Roll your eyes and go, oh.
All right, let's end it here, and then let's gather maybe this weekend.
Just whatever. I'm easy to reach. So.
All right, let's do it again. Let's end it here because I'm getting messages from the wife.
It's so funny. She texted me from the other room.
All right. Oh yeah. So we got 10 through 5. We have a recap.
10 through 5 recap, and then
if you're listening,
last 5, yeah.
We had 10 things you shouldn't do naked, 9 cartoon characters, 8 best albums, 7 top movies, 6 Al Pacino movies, 5 Jay Mohr moments, let's just give a teaser coming up. All right, next episode will be 4. 2 conspiracies that are real and 2 conspiracies that are fake. Number 3 is your top 3 funniest TV shows of all time. Number 2 is if you could replace 2 actors for Brokeback Mountain, who would those 2 actors be? And I think I nailed that one. Oh, might will be yours.
It might.
I was going to save this one, but I'll let you think about it and we'll touch base on Friday. Okay, so number 1 is if you could remake any movie, what would it be? That's the one I never told you.
Oh, I'm glad you told me because it's going to take a while to think about that one. Because, yeah.
So if you could remake any movie, what would it be?
Okay.
And then I'll save the bonus questions. I have 2 bonus questions, but number 1 will be remake one movie. What would it be?
I will put my brain to that one because that is a great question, and there is a lot of movies that are worthy of being remade properly.
Exactly. Yep.
So I like that.
All right. I'll talk to you soon, and I'm going to post this one, and it's been fun.
Yes, sir.
All right.
This is a lot of list making.
A lot of lists, but I wanted to do it.
A lot of list making. It was fun. I like it.
All right, dude.
All right.
Bye.
We will continue soon.
We will continue this. To be continued.
All right.